It's another full disclosure Thursday, and we are lucky to have our good friend and financier extraordinaire from the Bank of San Francisco, Samuel Clonmell, to talk about TIC financing in its current offering and current kind of form and everything. Great to see you, Sam. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Eddie. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So tell us, Bank of San Francisco is a specialty kind of lender when it comes to TICs. You do other loans, you do condo and single family, you do all that stuff too, but you do have a very interesting TIC product. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, as a whole, we're primarily a local bank, Bank of San Francisco. So we're based here in San Francisco, right on Market and Second. And we like doing local products. And TICs, it's a very local type of product, primarily in the San Francisco market. So for us, it just makes absolute sense. As a whole, it's roughly about like 90% of our overall production. So I will take that specialist hat and put it on real tight there, because we really do focus on that product. And
wow. So 90%. Because one of the things that we have worked with you on is if somebody is pre-approved with you, they are pre-approved for a condo or a TIC if they want to go either way.
Correct. It just so happens the way the market is now, it's been TICs primarily have been the real biggest product that we've been offering. Here in the residential department, the bank itself, we have a whole separate commercial team that is the majority of the bank, because we are a commercial bank, but for residential, it's a good portion of our overall production.
Cool. And can you tell us a little bit about the kind of currently, these always change a little bit, but currently kind of what are the most common fractional TIC products that people are doing or using through your bank?
Yeah, so we offer only adjustable rate mortgages for TIC, which simply means it'll be fixed for a certain time period and then variable every year thereafter. We offer 3 different types of adjustable rate mortgages. I'll speak about our longest fixed term as of right now, our 7-1 ARM. Basically, it's fixed for 7 years and then variable every year thereafter, but it is on a 30-year amortization, which just means during that fixed period, you're making your payments as if you have a 30-year mortgage. And that one is a principal and interest product. So you make your payments during that 7-year fixed period as if you have a regular 30-year fixed principal and interest mortgage. We've got a 5-1 ARM also. Same thing, principal and interest, fixed for 5 years and then variable every year afterwards. And one of our hottest products is our 3-1 ARM, because that's an interest-only product in which you just make interest payments during those 3 years, and then it converts to principal and interest. And with all of our loan products, there's no prepayment penalties. If you want to pay it off or refinance at any time, you very well can with no penalty or no charge to do so.
Awesome.
That's it. And so that 3-1, the interest only, the IO, that is super popular because people getting a 2-unit building where it can condo convert really like that product, right? Where they're able to come in, because it usually takes anywhere from 2 to 3 years to get a conversion through, and you're going to have to refi into permanent financing, like a condo financing, when the condo conversion is complete. And you do have a process where you allow people to do that conversion with at no additional cost, right? When that time comes up.
Correct. Essentially, I mean, there is the cost of refinance, but being that we already know the property and we've done it once on the TIC end, and as you said, we getting their foot in the door with an interest-only product, make nice low payments, and then we can go ahead and do the conversion once it's gone from TIC to condo.
Yeah, it's a super interesting product. It's there's nobody else really offers it. You're the only one who takes care or does that product. There are some fairly stiff down payment requirements, though, right?
Yeah. Who's a good candidate for this financing?
I mean, anyone's a good candidate. Any and everyone. You know, we will take any loan application comes our way. But from a down payment perspective, our requirement is 25% down in the TIC world. That's our minimum for any of the offerings that we have to offer.
And then what about credit?
Credit-wise, the minimum FICO across the board, as of right now, it's 700. And so an ideal candidate, anyone, but from a qualification standpoint, 25% down, and then a minimum credit score of 700.
Okay.
We also, as with most banks, we have a certain debt to income ratio. And I won't get too banker on here, but we basically want your overall debt to be no more than about 43% of your income, whether that's monthly or annually. That calculation is done.
Sure. So, I mean, what do you some people want the 30-year fixed and they don't know what TICs are until they start shopping. And it's interesting that you said that like 90% of the people that are borrowing are doing TIC fractional financing, because when we do have clients, Eddie, I find that when we have clients that are, initially looking at condos, but then they get into like, oh, could a TIC work? They usually wind up buying a TIC because they see the value there, right? So, but there can be this sort of like objection of like, I don't want an ARM, right? Like I want the 30-year fix. That's the American dream. So what do you say to that? And like, how do you assuage kind of those buyers who are like trepidatious about an ARM?
Yeah, it is an initial concern. Just really with the ARM, most people are very hesitant. In our mind, we want a 30-year fixed and we want to have the loan for 30 years. When in reality, most people refinance once every 6 or 7 years, if not to pull cash out or to get a better rate in term. Maybe they'll sell their home and upsize or downsize. So I think for most people, just understanding that normal cycle just helps them get comfortable with it. Also, interest rate wise, the rates aren't always very far out from a 30-year fixed. Can't give any quotes here as I'd like to keep my NMLS license as long as possible, but
well, we want this to be evergreen, so.
All right.
But they're not like drastically different from what
Correct.
you're gonna see on a 30-year. Cool. And then there's typically a cap, right? Like, once it adjusts that it can't just like jump to there's usually a cap.
Correct. With every loan, there's a cap either at the initial point of reset or the lifetime as to how high it could go. But again, there's no prepayment penalties. So let's say by chance the rate will go or is expected to go higher than what it is currently at a reset point, you can always refinance another fixed period for whatever loan product's available at that time.
Yeah, you can just refi into another 5 or 7 year. So, and I think we get a lot of people who they'll do the 5 or 7 year if they're doing a TIC in a 3, 4, or 5, 6 unit building, and then they'll do that 3-1 interest only for the 2 unit condo convertible.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's I kind of that's it in a nutshell. I think there's drop the mic. It's
nothing too scary.
Nothing too scary, and it's a quality product, and you guys are a quality bank. We really appreciate working with you, and thank you, Sam.
Yeah, for sure. We took a lot of time to develop the TIC program just to make sure it makes sense for the Bay Area. And we've been doing a good amount of TICs, and we want to keep doing it as long as possible. But working with experts like you, Eddie and Hayley, I've got no concerns at all. So thank you guys.
Awesome.
Here,
And
ditto.
if we needed to find you, because we wanted to talk to you about TIC financing, how do we find you, Sam?
Yeah, you can reach me by my cell, 415-940-1534, or by email, Samuel, Samuel, Clonmell, CLON as in Nancy, M as in Mary, ELL, at bankofsf.com.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Or just hit us up and we'll introduce you too.
Yes.
We love passing your info along.
Perfect. Awesome. And then how do people find us, Hayley, when they're out and about in the dark and they want to turn on the light?
Yep, they can go to elevationrealestate.com, or they can go to our YouTube channel. Just Google us, Eddie O'Sullivan and Elevation Real Estate. And on Instagram, we are Elevation SF.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Good to see ya.
All right, you too.